To begin Chapter 6, which we're talking about inventories, we can look at what's called the inventory cost flow assumptions. Different businesses will use different cost flow assumptions. The first assumption we'll look at is first in, first out. In the first in, first out, it's very simple, and that is the first item that came in would be the first one we're going to sell. And the way I relate to that is I say, as you enter the classroom, we're going to use a first in, first out for dismissing students. So the very first student that came in today will be the first student to exit the classroom. Okay? The second student that came in will be the second student to exit the classroom. The last student who entered would be the last student to leave. Okay? So we have first in, first out. So here we have, you can see under the first in, first out method, it's going to be like a box, and they fill it up from the top and it comes out the bottom. First in, first out. Kind of like a funnel. All right? Then we have the last in, first out method. In the last in, first out method, we can fill the box, and then we'll take it from the top of the box. If we use the classroom example, I'm going to have the students come in, and the last student who came in will be the first student to leave. And the second to last student who came in will be the second one to leave. The very first student who came in will be the last one to leave. So that's the last in, first out. It's like having a box as illustrated here in the text where we fill up the box and then we start taking out. Okay? Now the last one is called average cost. The average cost method, we'll load it in, and I can't really use that as an example as far as students coming in and going out of the classroom unless I took you all, put it in a grinder, and then took you out. Okay, can't do that very well. I might get in a little bit of trouble. So I just grind your minds. You come in and we grind you all up, and then we're going to take you out, and so we come up with an average cost. Let me give you an example as to when we would use each one of these methods. For the first in, first out method, we would want to use that with a perishable item. For instance, at a grocery store, we might say milk. Can't spell or write. There's an L there and an I. We might say milk. If you go in and buy milk at a grocery store, they have it up in the front, and then in behind is where they're putting the newer milk's coming in, and so you take it, because obviously if they took it and just shoved it back and put the milk in front, we'd be getting that, but the milk in back would turn into a curdled yuck, right? Anybody ever had that at home? It turns my stomach, I'll tell you. I don't like curdled milk at all. So we would want to take that, and we push the milk forward and we stock it from the back, and that way you're going to be taking that milk, and we're going to keep fresh milk on the shelf. Okay, so we use that for a perishable good. The last in, first out method, okay, last in, first out, LIFO, we could use in a hardware store. For instance, if you go to Costco or Lowe's or something like that, and you're buying some screws or nuts and bolts or washers or something, they have in these little packages that are up on the pegboard system. When they stock that, they don't care if they're selling the older ones or the new ones, do they? So they just put some more on there, and there could be 3 on there, and then they add 5 more, so there's a total of 8 on this little pegboard deal. Over a period of time, and you may have experienced this, when they ultimately get low, if they're not rotating and going through their inventory all the way, you might get a package that's really old. It could be yellowed and it could be dusty. The quality of the product, the washer, the screw is still the same, but it doesn't matter if it was just made a month ago or just made 2 years ago. So it doesn't matter, and so we could have their LIFO, last in, first out. Okay? So we'll see that at a hardware store. Like I said, you might go in there and see that old package. Okay. Finally, in the average cost, we'll use the average cost usually in something where the product's not really distinguishable, and I like to say gasoline. Okay, a petroleum product. The petroleum product comes in and they put it into the tank down there at the gas station, and it mixes all together with the gas from the previous purchase. And there could be some gas in there from the previous purchase. But it's all mixing together, and so we come up and we kind of average our cost. And so we'll illustrate that. All right?